In today's video, we'll look at an overview of writing task 1 and how to answer it effectively. Specifically, we'll look at what you have to do, how you will be graded, and how to write effectively. And of course, we'll look at some research reports as well so that you know what an actual research report looks like. And make sure you watch the video until the end because throughout the video, there are a lot of tips that you can use to increase your band score. Hey gang, what's up? Japanese Singh here from Tarvar. Ito pala pa video ge forward kariye. Make sure you like the video, subscribe karo, and get your notifications on. So, writing task 1. What do we have to do? Hunda ki hai, karna ki hai. If you really break it down, if you really make it as simple as it is, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਸ ਇੱਕ photo ਨੂੰ ਵੇਖਣਾ ਜਾਂ ਇੱਕ graph ਨੂੰ ਵੇਖਣਾ ਜਾਂ pie chart ਜੋ ਵੀ ਹੈ, you just have to look at an image and you have to translate that into words. That's essentially what it is. ਇੱਕ photo ਹੋਗੀ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ words ਵਿੱਚ describe ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕੀ ਹੈ, ਇੱਥੇ ਕਹਾਣੀ ਹੋ ਕੀ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ. It's very simple as that. So, look at this graph. ਇੱਥੇ ਦੋ axes ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਹੈਗਾ x axis ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਹੈਗਾ y axis. The x axis ਤੇ ਕੀ ਮਿਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ? We have number of people in thousands. 480,000 ਤੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੁੰਦਾ, 660,000 ਤੇ ਮੁੱਕਦਾ. And on the y-axis, it's time. It's, number of years that are passing through. Starts from October 2009 and ends at June 2011. And then we have two trend lines. ਠੀਕ ਹੈ? ਪਹਿਲੀ trend line ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ visitors arriving ਤੇ ਦੂਜੀ trend line ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ residents departures. So, what do we have to do in it? ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ read the question. ਠੀਕ ਹੈ? ਉਹਨੂੰ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਪੜ੍ਹੋ question ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਕੀ ਹੈ. Here, they're asking us to summarize everything, look at the key points, ਉਹ ਸਾਰੀ data ਅੱਗੇ present ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ. And we have to write at least 150 words. So there you go. That is what is essentially this question. ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ convert ਕਰਨਾ words ਵਿੱਚ. Okay, so before we go any further, have you actually seen what an actual report looks like? ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਦੇ report ਪੜ੍ਹੀ ਹੈ? Because very good chances you have not. You know what? Let's actually look at a report. Let's actually look at what a research report looks like. Now check this out. This is what an actual report looks like. Sab to pehla we have a title. The time is different. No, really. Demand resilient, IT refresh, business critical. Basically, this is a research report for stocks. On the left side, if you see, there's a graph there. ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ describe ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ US tech employment and the change year over year. So we see there's number of years and how the percentage is being changed in employment. Us to baad, there's a table down here where there's a lot of information as well. Now on the right side, they have basically converted all this data into words. Sab to pehla kitta ki they have key points here. Because managers are really busy, people who are buying equities and stocks, they don't have that much time to read the entire thing. So sometimes they just want the key points. So there's the key points. You can read those. You get a really good idea of what the report is about. What I really wanted to focus on is how they're writing the words. उन्होंने अपने words ਨੂੰ describe किमें किता, data ਨੂੰ describe किमें किता. Look at this one. In 2000s, when the last big enterprise technology refresh happened, there was a powerful deflationary force. Offshore delivery of IT services that limited technology spending increased as a percent of sales, despite significant additional volume of work for adopting web technologies. So you have to note some really strong words here. First, there's powerful deflationary force. That is very nice way to describe things. Us to baad, spending increase as a percent of sales. So that's really nice to look at as well. That's very nicely written. Us to baad, come on to the next point. With digital transformation, with firms like JP Morgan continuing to increase spending by a staggering 12.8% over CY 2022, we think firms that choose to cut back will be risking long-term competitiveness. So here, check this out. Staggering 12.8%. ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਕੋਈ there's a very high number you believe ਕਿ 12% or 12.8% is a very big number. You can say it's a staggering number. Or if you think 12.8 is a very bad number, you can still say it's staggering because that's a big number. Shouldn't be like that. So there you go. That's how you can describe things, right? So now you're seeing कि ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ start ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ, there's always these key points. They start the paragraph by giving out some really good information. And the first two lines, they have very good information there so that if you're skimming through it, you get the information that you're looking for. Us to baad, as we go down, describe kar rahe hain jo, there was a graph, they're making a case for it. So look at this. IT spending also seems tremendously recession-proof, with the US computer-related employment down just 0.3% over 2008-2009 and 0.8% over 2009-2010. So that is a very nice way of describing data between years. ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ data ਐਦਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, you have to describe between years. That's a good way to do it. So, it's really important that you get these reports and read them, because the more you read these reports, the better understanding you will have of how to write reports. ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਮਝੀ ਨਹੀਂ, you can't really go about writing about it. It's very important. ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, reports download ਕਰ ਲਓ and read them. It's these are all free, available reports online. So just go ahead and just look for some market reports and you can read them and see how they're written. So there you go. Now you know what an actual report looks like, how it is written. And of course, if you want to access this report, it's there on my website and it's also linked in the description below. If you want to download it, it's just available there. So go ahead, use it, read it. I hope you learned something from it. Okay, so ਹੁਣ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ, you know what writing task 1 is all about and what a marketing report looks like. And now get your pen and pencils ready because I have some very important tips for you. So mark this down, write it if you have to, make sure you remember these. Number 1, use only the information that is given to you. The information that is given to you in the graph, use just that. You only have to describe what is happening and how it is happening over a period of time. You will not add details about why it is happening. Even if you know the reasons, you can't add them. क्योंकि अपने को वो information है ही नहीं. We only need to explain हो की रहा है, ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ explain ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ क्यों रहा है. ठीक है? That is very important. Number 2, no imaginary details. Even if you think, कि ये इस गल करके हो रहा होगा, why the graph is changing like that, do not add that. That will just get your points deducted because now you're just making things up. They do not want to see that. This is a report. This is factual. It's about facts. It's about evidence. ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ fact ਮਿਲੇ ਹੋਏ ਆ, the evidence that is provided to you in the graph, use just that, nothing else. Moving forward, number 3, don't add personal knowledge. Even if you know the subject matter that they're talking about in the graph or in the pie charts or in the processes, do not add that knowledge because there's no way for you to prove that because that's not the information that you've been given, right? So number 4, make sure you use the information accurately. Now here for an example, ठीक है, x axis ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ people in thousands, ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਿਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, don't by mistake say 480. No, you have to say 480,000 people. That you have to make sure that you're accurate. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨੰਬਰ ਚੱਕ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਰੈਫਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, all the data that you're referring to from the graph or from the information that is given to you, it has to be accurate. Do not miss that. Do not, misread things. Make sure you pay very close attention to the information that is given to you. So now you know what to do. Now let's move on to looking at, what the marking criteria is. Or thodi marking kiਵੇਂ ਕਰਨਗੇ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ? There are basically 4 criteria that you will be, assessed against. Number 1, task achievement. So what is task achievement? Basically, it's how well you have written the answer that they've asked. Have you shown all the data clearly? Is all the data clearly described? Does the report sound like a real report? Or is this kind of a report that a manager could show to a CEO? Do you have all the details in there? Have you written it like that? And finally, have you covered all the important points? ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ trend lines ਤੋਂ cover ਕਰ ਲਿਆ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕੋਈ dip ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ, did you cover that? Did you look at all the timelines? ਜਿਹੜਾ scale ਵਗੈਰਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਸਾਰਾ mention ਕੀਤਾ? Just basically all the information that is there in the graph. Did you cover it all or not? That is basically, did you achieve the task or not? So that's number 1. So now I want you to pay attention because this is a really important tip. Task 1, it imitates a research report. There you go. So you have to make sure you get all the information covered that's there in the graph. Look at some other research reports and see how they are written. That way you'll have a good idea of what a research report looks like and how you can write one effectively. Now let's look at next marking criteria, coherence and cohesion. So it means how well do the ideas relate to each other. ठीक है, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਈਡੀਆਜ਼ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਆ, do they link with each other or not? ਉਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ coherently ਲਿਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ, ਸਮਝ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ? You have to cover a few things in it. Is it easy to see how one sentence relates to the next one? Can you see that? ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਸਹੀ ਢੰਗ ਨਾਲ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਪੈਰਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਦੂਜੇ ਪੈਰ ਨਾਲ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਮੈਚ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਤੀਜੇ ਪੈਰ ਨਾਲ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਮੈਚ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, what's the link behind that? Have you used a variety of linking words and pronouns? That's another thing. You have to see, ਜਿਹੜੇ link ਕਰਨੇ ਆ paragraph ਨੂੰ sentences ਨੂੰ, have you used the linking words? Have you used the proper pronouns that you need to? That is important. Have you used paragraphs with one main idea per paragraph? See, this is an important idea. This is important, so pay attention. ਹਰੇਕ paragraph which you just want to write one idea. ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਇੱਕ main idea ਚੱਕੋ and describe that. That is what you want to do. Don't go with more than that because, you're just writing a report, so keep it like that. So now, wake up. Time for another next important tip. Write this down. Check your writing at the end. After you've written the entire report, make sure you check the writing. You want to look out for repetition. Je koi same words dikh rahe hain, or you're seeing like a lot of sentences starting with the same words, change that. You do not want repetition in your work because that just shows thodi vocabulary nahi hegi. So that is important you do that. Now let's move on to the next marking criteria, and that is lexical resources. So what is lexical resources? It's just a fancy way of saying, have you used enough words? Thodi vocabulary hegi hai? Have you used a variety of words or not? That is what they're looking for here. To see thodi writing which kinni ka wide range of vocabulary hegi hai. So it's really important that you use synonyms. Synonyms when you use karo, find different ways of describing, same thing, and use substitution techniques as well. ठीक है, जो थोड़े को कोई एक चीज़ कोई process आ रही है, and you want to mention that again in the next part of the report, use a way that you substitute the words that you've used before. Find new words to say that. That is very important. Next, have you described everything clearly or not? Did you use the right words or not? Because all the words, जितने भी synonyms तुसी use करोगे, they have to be in the right context. That is important. Just because you know a synonym doesn't mean, you can just use it. You need to know how to use it as well. So that is very important. Learn how to use words in different contexts as well. Finally, are your spellings okay? Thodi spelling mistakes तो नहीं ज़्यादा हो रही हैं. जिस ज़्यादा spelling mistakes हो रही हैं, that will be negatively marked. So make sure you check for spellings, you learn how to avoid spelling mistakes. And now time for some really important tips. So wake up, write this down. If you use a small range of words and you write it clearly, that won't get you as many points as opposed to if you use a variety of words and you make some mistakes. Yeah, I know it sounds counter-effective, but that's what it is. When you're writing, try to use a variety of words. And if you make some mistakes, that is okay. Just don't make a lot of mistakes because that's when you start losing points. So, use a wide variety of vocabulary. So there you go. Now let's move on to the last marking criteria, and that is grammatical range and accuracy. So what does this mean? Basically, if कह रहे हैं कि थोड़ी grammar सारी ठीक है कि नहीं? Did you use the right form of verbs? Did you write, the correct grammatical structures in your answers? Did you use those? And did you use the right formation of sentences? Because that is important as well. Right? And another thing that a lot of candidates miss is punctuation. Make sure thode dots, your commas, your semicolons, they are all on point. You don't miss them, you don't add way too many of those. You have to use punctuation carefully and you have to make sure you use it wisely, and do not miss punctuation. That's just bad writing. So that will, cause negative marking. So there you go. Those are the 4 criteria that you'll be assessed against for the writing task 1, in a 4 points which dekha jaoga ki do you write it well or not. So that is important that you do that. So now we know the criteria, how we'll be assessed and what we have to do right. Okay, now it's time to learn how you'll be marked. Okay? So to make your life easy, what I've done is I provided a link in the description. ठीक है, वो PDF the link हैगा जिहड़ा IELTS वाले provide करते हैं, उन्हां दा marking guide हैगा. Click on it, it'll open a PDF for you, and you can basically see, 5 band वाले दी की गलतियां हुंदियां ते 9 band वाले दा की वधिया हुंदे answer which, right? But in the video itself, I will explore all those things with you. So let's look at that now. So this is what the band descriptors look like. ठीक है, IELTS वाले ने band descriptor बनाए हैं ताकि तुहानू पता लगे तुसी आंसर किवें देना है, आंसर विच तुहानू की चाहिदा है, and how you can do it effectively. So let's start with जिहदे 9 band आ रहे हैं. How are they hitting 9 bands? सब तो पहला, for a band 9, task achievement fully satisfies all the requirement of the task, clearly presents a fully developed response. ਉਹ ਕਰ ਕੀ ਰਿਹਾ 9 band वाला? They're basically answering everything that is needed in the question. ठीक है, उन्हां कोल ਜਿਹੜੀ information हैगी है, it is very well presented. Everything that is there, it's talked about. ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੀ image ਸੀਗੀ, everything is clearly written into words. So that is task achievement, right? ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਰਾ cover ਕਰਤਾ. Next, coherence and cohesion uses cohesion in such a way that it attracts no attention, skillfully manages paragraphing. So coherence and cohesion which ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ 9 band ਵਾਲਾ? Basically, the way they are writing, you don't even know that it's written, with the effective techniques, because ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗੂਗਾ ਕਿ it's so well written. You'll just read and you'll be like, oh wow, this is easy to read. And that's just the beauty of writing well. ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਲਿਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, right, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗੂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਲਿਖਿਆ, because that is what it means to be good. And that's what 9 band, it's all about. If you can write that well, that it attracts no attention to it, that is how you do it. Okay? Now let's move on to the next one. Lexical resources Uses a wide range of vocabulary with very natural and sophisticated control of lexical features. Rare minor errors occur only as slips. So here again, someone who's getting 9 bands, they use a very wide variety of synonyms and wide variety of words, and vocabulary is like very big. Okay? And of course, they make very little mistakes with those. It's like an occasional slip somewhere, and that's just human error, and that's okay. So that is how you get 9 bands there. And finally, grammatical range and accuracy. Uses a wide range of structures with full flexibility and accuracy. Rare minor errors occur only as slips. So they have a really good control over their grammar. Take out the grammar, their mistakes bahut thodiyan hagiyan. They use all the structures very carefully. So there you go. That is how you get 9 bands, right? It sounds easy, it's a little difficult, I know, but with practice, you'll be fine. Don't worry. Now let's look at punch band wala ki ho raha hai. So what a candidate is doing who's hitting 5 bands. So task achievement. Generally addresses the task, the format may be inappropriate in places. An academic recounts detail mechanically with no clear overview. There may be no data to support the description. In general task, may present a purpose for the letter that is unclear at times, the tone may be variable and sometimes inappropriate. So there you go. Je tusi ratte mare na, if you memorize things and you go and write that, they will know that this is mechanical, and that is how you get 5.5 bands. So most importantly, use your own language. Don't just, pehla ratte maar ke nahi jana utte, because that will only get you like bad score. So make sure you don't do that, right? So you have to use your own words. And someone who's hitting 5.5, basically they are lacking, how to answer all the questions that are given in the question. Jada graph hai ude sara kuch cover nahi kar rahe ho. Ta, take a moment, look at the data and present, and write all the things down and then you present it. Now let's move on to the next criteria. Coherence and cohesion. Presents information with some organization, but there may be a lack of overall progression. Makes inadequate, inaccurate, or overuse of cohesive devices. May be repetitive because of lack of referencing and substitution. So coherence and cohesion which ki ho raha hai? ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੁਝ ਲਿਖਿਆ it's not making sense. ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੰਨਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਲਿੰਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ. ਪੈਰਾਗ੍ਰਾਫਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਟੈਕਨੀਕ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ it's not that well established. ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਉੱਥੇ ਮਾਰ ਖਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ. ਤੇ finally the words are repetitive. ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਐਡੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ, like linking words ਨਹੀਂ use ਕਰ ਰਹੇ, pronounce ਨਹੀਂ use ਕਰ ਰਹੇ. That's where they're losing points as well. Now let's check the other criteria out as well. Lexical resource. Uses a limited range of vocabulary, but this is minimally adequate for the task. May make noticeable errors in spelling and or word formation that may cause difficulty for the reader. So what's the problem here? Any other words nahi hange vocabulary which, they are not presenting a wide vocabulary. They only have a limited resources. And as well as they're making spelling mistakes, which may cause problems for the reader. Jehda padhna wala hai, ਉਹਨੂੰ difficulty hogi samjhan ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ. So there you go. Those are some of the issues that you can have, if you have 5.5 bands, right? See, thodi ye galtiyan hagiyan kite. If they are, you know how to fix them now, right? Now let's look at the final criteria. Grammatical range and accuracy. Uses only a limited range of structures. Attempts complex sentences, but these tend to be less accurate than simple sentences. May make frequent grammatical errors and punctuation may be faulty. Errors can cause some difficulty for the reader. Here, ठीक है, ज़्यादा structures नहीं use कर रहे. जो structures are, they're like very limited. And that's going to cause a lot of problems. If it's too simple a structure and you write to make a complex sentence and you're making mistakes, that's a problem as well. ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ 5.5 band ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ, right? So you have to learn how to make complex sentences. You have to look at grammatical structures that you can use, right? Because that is important. And finally, punctuation as well. ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ punctuation miss ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਗਲਤ use ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ points ਘੱਟ ਹੋਣਗੇ. So there you go. That's the difference between 5.5, 5 and a 9 band answer, right? ਤਾਂ ਹੁਣ what you have to do here is, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੇਖੋ ਆਪਣੇ answers, you know your answers pretty well by now. I'm pretty sure you do. If you don't, go through them, see what mistakes you're making. ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ, you tell your mistakes with the band descriptors. See, like, are you making these mistakes? If you are, then make a plan to, fix those mistakes. And that is how you go about, scoring a higher band. So there you go. This is important. I hope you know, what is needed to be done at this point. You understand the task one, very clearly. So yeah, that's important that you do that. And now, time for some really important tips again. So hey, quick, pay attention. All right, get your pen out and write this down. So make sure you write more than 150 words. because if you write less than that, you will lose points. ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ 150 words ਤੋਂ ਘੱਟ ਲਿਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ points ਕੱਟਣਗੇ. Go ahead, write a little bit more. It's okay. Just, don't go too far ahead as well. But 150 words, 150 words, make sure you hit the target. Task 1, it's only 33% of your time, and task 2, that's 66% of your time. So make sure you spend more time on task 2 compared to task 1. It just makes sense. So manage your time accordingly. Don't waste too much time on task 1. Number 3, use your own language. If you ratte maar ke chale gaye and you just memorize words, memorize structures, memorize openings or whatever, and you go write those, that's going to sound mechanical, and that will actually make you lose points. So don't do that. Use your own words. Describe things in your own words. Apne words with sara kuch describe karo. Number 4, write in connected sentences. Do not write bullet points. So whenever you're making a paragraph, make it a full paragraph. Points nahi dene. I know ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਪਾਂ research reports ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ pointer ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ because points are usually easy to read, but IELTS, they expect answers to be written in a paragraph style because they want to assess your writing, not how easy it is to look at the text itself. So there you go. Make sure you write paragraphs. And finally, only write information that is given. Do not make information up. Do not go on describing things that are not there. Just look at the data that is in front of you. ठीक है, ਆਪਾਂ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਾ ਦੇਣੀਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ, ਆਪਾਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਹਾਣੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਾਉਣੀ ਵਿੱਚ. You just have to look at, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੇਖੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ information ਮਿਲੀ ਕੀ ਹੈ. ਜਿਹੜੀ information ਮਿਲੀ ਹੈ, just talk about that. Everything else, forget it. Do not add that. ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਕੁਛ ਜਿਹੜੀ data ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲੀ ਹੈ, make sure you add everything. So those were really 5 important tips that you need to remember to not lose points. ठीक है, because if you make these mistakes, and these can be very easily avoided, please don't make these mistakes. Please get more points. Okay? Now let's look at a really powerful strategy. It's a 4-step strategy how to answer task 1. Let's go. Step 1, analyze the data. Okay? Look at the data, see what is given to you. Make sure you don't miss anything. See what is happening in there. See how the data is flowing. See what the important points are. Make sure you get all the trend lines. And finally, make sure you get all the important highlights in there. Do not miss those. Find the differences. If something is going up, catch that. If something is going down, catch that as well. Make sure you get the overall view of things, get that. Number 2, you have to write 150 words. So make sure, you plan out your paragraphs. Each paragraph should have one main topic that you have to cover in it. Take out and I'll give some more detail, give some more evidence to back it up. So make sure you do that. And whatever the overview is of the entire data, whatever, the big picture is, make sure you add that into the first paragraph because that is very important. क्योंकि फिर एग्जाम में पता लग जाएगा कि हाँ, this person, the candidate knows how to answer these questions. So make sure you do that. Step number 3, writing your report. In the overview, discuss the main patterns. If it's an overall upward trend, make sure you discuss that. If it's an overall downward trend, make sure you discuss that. If it's a wavy thing, discuss that. Whatever is the overall pattern, make sure you talk about that in the overview. Do not miss it. ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਾਰੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਵਰ ਕਰੋ, ਪੂਰਾ ਉਹਦਾ overall ਦੱਸੋ ਤੇ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਕੀ ਰਿਹਾ. ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ overview ਦੇਤਾ, ਉਹ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਿਹੜੇ paragraphs ਹੋਣਗੇ, that is where you add detail, that is where you add more, evidence basically that you will find in the data. So do that. And finally, step number 4, check your report. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੀ report ਲਿਖ ਲਈ. Once you've written everything, make sure you go back to it and start looking for any inconsistencies. 2 key things that you want to look for here is, first of all, is everything, all the things that you've written, is there any repetition that you need to take care of? If you're seeing some repeating words, take those out. Make sure you don't do that. Make sure you don't write in repetitive words. Change them. Us to baad, check for spelling mistakes. If you're making any spelling mistakes, make sure you catch them and you fix them as well. Apart from that, make sure you've achieved the task. See, have you covered all the questions? What that's being asked of you? Did you cover all the points? Did you cover all the trend lines? Did you cover the entire data that is asked of you? ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ cover ਕਰ ਲਿਆ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ? That is very important. Make sure you do that. ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ, you have to make sure everything is organized. ठीक है? And you're using variety of linking words. That is very important. ठीक है? In all, you'll have more coherence, more cohesion. So basically, we're trying to hit the 4 criteria, right? Up next, so make sure you have written variety of vocabulary in there. Make sure if there's any repetition, take care of that. That will help you get a better grade. And finally, grammar. Make sure there are no grammatical mistakes. Make sure you have written all different kinds of structures in there. So yeah, there you go. Those are the 4 steps that you have to do when you're writing this report. Okay, that's just an overview of how to go about things. So now I hope you understand, what writing task 1 is all about, how to get a better grade at it, and what a market research report actually looks like. So that should give you a very good idea of how to write a good answer. Okay? And hey, you know what? If you have any questions, you need help with anything, just drop that in the comments section and I'll get back to you. And I hope you liked the video. I hope you find this helpful. And make sure you use these powerful strategies. Make sure you make a habit of following this 4-step approach when you're answering that. Don't forget to like the video and share karo and subscribe karo. Get your notifications on as well. See you in the next video.